Hi, it's Will from Installment, and this is part 18 of my fantasy wall diorama, and it's pretty much the last part. I will do one more video after this, wiring it up, putting the cover on it, and mounting it on the wall so you can see the whole thing totally done with all the lights and the animation and all that. So that's one more video. But in this video, part 18, I pretty much finish up the diorama with the Dragon's Lair and Crystal Cave, I call it. And let me show you real quick what I got here. See if you want to see the automated dragon. I took apart a CD player and used the parts for that to make this. And I will show you a little bit about how I do that. You can see how it works. But that's the dragon comes out to ambush our adventurers. Okay, in the Crystal Cave, you can see it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot to it. I made myself a little, section for the dragon to hide behind and then come out in. Just did some basic paint. I used celluclay to get some of the texture, like the texture in the wall there. And I used a bunch of crystals that I bought to make the Crystal Cave. So it's pretty straightforward, not a whole lot to it. The fancy thing about this video tutorial is the dragon and how I automated that. And I will show you that. So this is part 18, the Dragon's Lair Crystal Cave. We'll launch into a little bit of how I made it. Okay, it had been a while since I actually ran this little automated device, so I ran it just to test it. And everything looked good. Hooked up a little switch in the power supply and it works back and forth. So then from there I just built myself a little prototype model out of wood. See it? So I could figure out how this is going to work. And there's a little hinge and pivot in there. Just sculpted it out of wood just to get it working. It's going to be behind a wall, so this is all just prototyping before I actually started doing any work. I wanted to get it figured out first. And there we go, that's what it looks like. So it all looks good, so let's start building the actual one. I sculpted the dragon out of Procreate, a two-part epoxy. You just mix the two parts together and you sculpt yourself whatever you want, and it hardens in a couple hours. If you'd like to sculpt miniatures like this, I do have a whole bunch of tutorials on that. How to sculpt miniatures, fantasy miniatures I think it's called. It's like 20 videos. So here's the dragon. It's starting to look like it's getting into shape. But once I did finally finish it, put the teeth in and all the detail, I primed it. And then I painted it. And it looks good. So I mounted a hinge on the back of that and created a new little system for myself here to have the dragon. This one's stronger and more robust. Everything's like a stronger material, stronger hinge, stronger metal bars there. So it'll last longer, and it's a little heavier, so it needs to be stronger. So that's that. Now I built myself a little box that it goes in on the right there. That's all covered in celluclay. Adding celluclay, which is a great little paper mache, just to make that cave shape. See it? Simple enough. And then the crystals, I bought a bunch of little crystals. I glued them together, hot glued them together to form little clusters, and stuck them in some of the celluclay. While the celluclay was still wet, some of those crystals I stuck in there. Other crystals, once the celluclay was dry, I just used a hot glue gun to get it all into shape. So a lot of fun. I like the Crystal Cave. It looks pretty good. Now to paint it, I painted most of it just a brown color, and then I got like a highlight effect out of it by painting and also dabbing black on top of the brown. I'll show you that right here. It gives it like a cave look. Just dabbing the black on top of the brown while the brown is still wet. So that's about it. That's it. This is pretty easy to make, except for the the automation there with the dragon. That took some time to get right. But the rest of this part 18, the Dragon's Lair, was pretty easy. And there it is. There's the dragon. So one more part to this where I'll wire it up, put the glass on it, hanging on the wall, and I will show you that. But there it is. There's the whole wall diorama. Lots more stuff on my website at stormthecastle.com and here on my YouTube channel, Epic Fantasy. Thanks.